Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Brown from Regulate Your Nervous System. And today we have a really amazing guest who is a high performance elite mortgage and wealth strategist. And he is going to talk to us about modalities that he uses during stressful times. So stick around. You are not going to want to miss this episode.
Hey, it's Maria Brown. Turn the volume up now. We're dialing in your day from the inside out. Regulate your nervous system. Let's go. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the rhythm. Oh, from stress to steady, watch you listen and grow with Maria Brown on the mind body flow. Regulate your nervous system.
Welcome back to Regulate Your Nervous System. I am Maria Brown, and I am really excited today to introduce you to Chris Swartz. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us. I haven't seen you since Bali, but this is amazing to have you here as a guest. So thrilled that you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to see you, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show here.
So I'm going to dive in. You sent me this a beautiful introduction. So just so that people can get a feel of who you are and why you're here. Chris is a mortgage and wealth strategist and founder of Smart Money, a platform built to help people build wealth, eliminate debt, and create a life on their own terms. With over 20 years of experience, he takes a real-world approach to money, combining mortgage strategy with practical financial planning and connecting people with the right tools, resources, and professionals to help them make smarter financial decisions. Sounds like you are somebody that everybody could use these days.
I just wanted to give you a mouthful there on the intro, but thank you so much for covering all that. And it's really something that everyone needs to deal with in life, right? Like, how do we manage all of these financial decisions?
Exactly. So tell us a little bit more about your business.
Yeah, so right now we're running a platform called Smart Money. And basically, through Smart Money, our mission is to connect with high earners and help people with the strategies that they need to turn income into freedom. I've spent 20 years as a mortgage lender and helping people purchase, refinance their home. And through that process, became really in tune with how do people make money decisions? What decisions do they need to make to get to where they want to be? And it's just really opened up a lot of doors in the financial services world for me.
I love that. For young people, they seem to have a better mindset about that right now than I think I did when I was teaching. Are you finding that a younger generation is starting to think more about this?
I think so. I think they just have access to more information than we
Uh,
did. So they're being exposed to things a lot earlier.
uh,
I think a lot of it is coming down to they're learning it on their own because they have access to the information. I would love to see more of the financial literacy in our education system, but overall, I think technology is helping to allow the young people to make smarter financial decisions and at least be aware. I mean, I don't know that they're making extremely smart financial decisions with the apps and the things that they spend money on, DoorDash and, Uber Eats and $8 Starbucks coffees. But, they're at least exposed to what it means to manage money. And there's a lot of financial tools out there. Our daughters, when they were younger, had the green light card, and it's like a debit card, but the parents are in control of it. So they're managing their money and moving it to their savings account. So there's a lot of cool things out there that we didn't have.
I love that. That wasn't around when my children were growing up. And I do agree that there is a lack of financial literacy in the elementary, middle, and secondary school system. So I'd love to see that as well. So
Absolutely.
tell me, like, how does your business or your personal experience relate to nervous system regulation? Like, what's your story?
So yeah, being in financial services, working in finance, also working in the investment world with people that are investing in real estate, buying and flipping homes, also investing in funds to raise capital. It's a high pace, high stress environment. And there's really no time to slow down. Everybody's always trying to, get things moving quickly. And 21 years of that high pace stress just really started to take its toll, and I really didn't realize what burnout was
Mm.
until I got a lot older and I was burnt out. So I learned that this lifestyle has taken a toll on my body and my mind and my energy levels. Thankfully, something that I discovered, and I've been on a journey. I've been working really hard to reverse the effects of a lot of years of high stress in a fast paced industry.
Yeah. So a lot of clients that I see that are high performers, they hit burnout and they say the same thing. Like it wasn't until this moment that I realized it. What was the moment that you realized that something needed to change? Like what was going on in your body or in your daily life that you were just like, "Oh, this is definitely not healthy."
Sure. So one of the things, I was really fortunate, colleague of mine was seeing a functional medicine doctor,
Mm.
and he was telling me about some of the things that they were doing, natural methods to balance out and regulate his body. So I thought, hey, let me give this a shot because I could tell I was having short-term memory issues. I was lethargic. And even though I was exercising and doing the things that I thought I should be doing, something felt off. So when I went to the functional medicine doctor and we did a lot of blood work and that data came back, that was shocking to me because I thought I'm healthy, I eat decent, and I'm doing this life thing pretty well. And then when you look at the data and you see, well, your cortisol levels are off and your
Mhm.
adrenals are blasted out, and you see actual data, it was shocking. It took it from my kids making fun of dad with you can't remember anything. You can't remember. I started to get really concerned. I was like, wait, what what did we do that day? And I realized this isn't funny. Like there's really something going on in my body. And that data woke me up to, wow, there's a lot going on inside my body, even though I think I'm fine.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just a slight shift in your blood chemistry, how it impacts the neurochemistry in your brain and how everything functions in your body. That is one of the first signs, right? As soon as you go into that fight or flight response, which is a normal evolutionary response that's built in for us to be able to survive, that your cortisol levels and adrenaline levels go way up, and then it shifts everything else. And you get that brain fog. The different parts of the brain are receiving different signals because you're not feeling safe anymore. So I see that a lot. One of the things I'm curious about is what did the experience teach you about stress, about burnout, and how it was impacting your performance and decision making. Because when we're triggered or we're not operating optimally, those thoughts
Yeah.
that create our decisions, that create our actions, that create our outcomes. How did that affect your decision making?
Great question. And it really just slowed it down. And looking back, it's so crazy to realize how evident it was what was happening, but I thought everything was fine. And
Mm.
now, almost 2 years into this journey of reversing all of this, just seeing the difference in how you can make better decisions and how you have much more certainty and clarity once you regulate your nervous system. So that's the really big takeaway for me was a lot of the indecisiveness and the decisions that I was struggling with. It wasn't about the issue. It was really about what was going on in my body. And I'm not perfect. I'm on a journey, right? I'm better than I was. And through connecting with people like you, and we've done some breath work and just little nuggets that I'm accumulating along the way, little acorns almost. I'm getting better. And now I can see that when I make decisions, it's okay, boom, we've made the decision, we move forward. There's not all this fogginess around it. So you're just able to make better decisions when you're less stressed.
And not questioning, knowing completely that
Knowing,
this is the right
absolutely.
way to move. So, what are some of the changes that you started to make? When we met in Bali, we discussed some of the breath work, some of the breathing techniques, but what are some of the other things that you've done?
I mean, a lot of it comes down to stuff that we know, right? That people have told us to do for years. Like people have talked about exercising and breath work and all of these things. I think it's just taking that first step and doing it. And for me, it started off with exercise. And I thought, well, this is great. I'm exercising. That means my body's got to be operating at an optimal level. I'm doing what I need to do. But that wasn't enough. I still had the brain fog. My sleep patterns were erratic. There was just something else that was missing. So it was combining other elements, other modalities, right? The breath work. I mean, that was, as you know, when we met in Bali, so foreign to me. And I've, tried it here and there and it's like, oh, it's not for me. I can't do it. And you showed me simple exercises like the 4x8. I have an infrared sauna. That has been a really great way to reset my nervous system. Sometimes I'll do the breath work in the sauna.
Yes.
Not sure if that's recommended, but
Yes, it is,
okay.
highly.
And maybe not the breath of fire in the sauna,
No,
but
not the breath of fire.
unless you want to pass out. But yeah, those things are really helping. So the exercise was what I thought was the holy grail, and it was just one little piece. So the breath work, the sauna, the functional medicine doctor, seeing where my body's deficient. Because people say, "Oh, well, your body has everything it needs to heal itself," and I agree with that. But there's a lot of environmental factors that take away from what our body is able to give us. So if you know where you're deficient and you're able to supplement with natural supplements, that can be helpful. So I think it's just a little bit of everything. I've got this Aura ring tracking my sleep patterns and changing that. The sleep has been huge. I kind of am feeling like, wow, I'm really getting older because I'm so protective of my sleep, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm aging for sure. When sleep is that much of a priority, like you're
So you're
getting old.
aging less because you're getting better sleep. I just
Aging
want to
less,
put
but
that out there.
mentally, I'm like, oh my goodness, look at this old man, like worrying about getting to bed by 9:30 and then waking up to look and see how my heart rate was. Now, when I miss something, cutting alcohol, I didn't drink excessively, but in my industry, there's always a networking event or a happy hour or something. And it's like a drink here, a drink there. So the alcohol is consistently in your system. And I'm not an alcoholic. I drink socially, but then I would notice the impact on my workouts. And then I would notice, which was really cool through the Aura Ring, and it was like, oh, your heart rate was elevated while you were sleeping. And I'm like, oh, that's because I drank alcohol and those things matter. And so you just start to cut it back and realize, I feel a little bit better without this. I feel a little bit better if I get more sleep. Or if you're spiraling, take a few minutes, do that simple breath work. It makes such a difference. I'm so in tune with my body now that it's crazy.
I love this because there's so much juice in what you just said in every little piece. One, the sauna just lets you detox, right? Doing a rhythmic breath of 4-4 or doing some box breathing or doing a 4-8 is really, really healthy. Key, making sure you're breathing diaphragmatically, right? We talked in
Right.
Bali, if you even if you're nasal breathing, you could be breathing through the chest, and that's the same as hyperventilation, which keeps you in that sustained state of fight or flight. And the alcohol that you brought that up is just also so important, right? Because it dehydrates every cell.
Yeah.
And when you said that you don't have the energy and you're feeling fatigued and your heart rate goes up at night and your HRV crashes when you have excess alcohol, just think about every sip of alcohol pushing the water out of every cell of your body. And
Yeah.
in your cells, you have those little powerhouses called mitochondria. If they don't have enough water, they can't give you the energy that your body needs to allow you to operate
Yeah.
optimally every day. So every sip of alcohol dehydrates you. Same thing with caffeine. Every sip of caffeine dehydrates you. So you feel the toxins from that. And it's amazing that you're listening to your body before mindset because now you have the acuity to even say, oh, I feel this. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to breathe. I'm going
Yep.
to exercise. I'm going to do these things that nourish me. I love that.
Yeah, it's been such a game changer, and it makes you think. Again, I trust me, I love a good old fashioned or a Manhattan. I've not given them up totally, but it makes you think, do I really just want to have this one drink for no reason right now? And
Right.
oftentimes it's like, no, it's not worth it. So the times that I do, I know tomorrow's an off day because I do know that there is a price to pay. And it won't be drinking excessively, so there's this massive hangover. But when you're in tune with your body, you notice that little change, one or two drinks, and you're not performing optimally the way you would be if you didn't have it. So I
Right.
know because I'm not going to be myself, and I make the choice to sacrifice it, but a lot less because you realize the cost.
Right. And it's the same with nutrition. Everything that goes in has its outcome in how your body functions.
Exactly.
So I love that you brought that up. So lots of great things. And I love that you're doing the sauna too. That's actually a beautiful compliment. Breath work in the sauna.
All these little things, you just kind of add them in at whatever pace and when you're ready, and it makes a difference. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, the breath work, I never thought I would do breath work. And I never thought that it would have such an impact that I would want to do breath work.
Mm.
It's like, well, what's that really going to do? And then once you do it and your blood's flowing and you're like, whoa, I feel like I just
Right.
did a shot of 2 shots of espresso and all I did was breathe in and out my nose real fast.
For 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it's
So
interesting because those are old pranayamic breathing techniques, right? The yogis knew that thousands of years ago and they did it, even the humming
yeah.
to activate the vagus nerve and bring you into that calm state. And there's modern day breath work, which is holotropic breath work, which is breathing in and out through the mouth for a stress response so that you release trauma. But
Okay.
the old pranayamic techniques, the techniques that I was showing you, those are all for nervous system regulation or to activate your body and get you energized. But you can get energized as well when you're in the gym, and it'll allow you to build lung capacity at the same time. So there's so many little things that the yogis from
Yeah.
thousands of years
Yeah,
ago
no,
have passed down to us.
I'm just at the cusp of, learning all of it. I'm very basic with the breath, but eventually I'll add more strategies and techniques and I'll get better at it. But just doing even that little bit, probably not even doing it as well as I could be is helpful and it'll get better and it makes a difference. So especially if I'm having a hectic day, if a deal's going sideways or a deal falls apart and it's not going to go through. Sometimes if you're in a high pressure situation where you're negotiating a big deal, it can be stressful. It can fall apart. And then it's like, well, if the deal falls apart, do you fall apart? Or do
Mm,
you pick it back up and say, and that was the other thing too. When you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you're taking risks. And sometimes those risks pay off and you get the reward. And sometimes it's a punch in the gut and it didn't work. And you've got to be regulated if you're a high functioning entrepreneur to be able to take those blows, right? Because it's not always going to be win win win. I mean, there's going to be some tough times, and what I found is comparing the two when I was completely stressed and burnt out, how I would handle those tough times, I was crushed. I mean, I was non-functioning. My time with my family is ruined. Everything was a mess. Now I can put that where it needs to be, and it has less of an impact. It obviously still has an impact. I'm not perfect by any means, but it's a tool that helps.
you're building resilience. And I guess that leads in perfectly to how these nervous system regulation techniques that you're using fits into your smart money philosophy and help people ultimately build wealth and live a life on their own terms. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, I think, in order to really build wealth and live life on your terms, which is what smart money is about, you have to be in control because there are times where you can just grind it out and work and work and work and make really good money, but it's going to come at a cost. It's going to catch up with you and so if you're having to make a really critical decision, if you're always in that fight or flight mode, you're going to be flustered. You're going to make irrational business decisions. You
Mm.
may say yes to deals that you should have said no to, or vice versa. You might be so indecisive that you pass on a great opportunity. So, in order to master your money, you need to be a master of your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, so that you can make smart financial decisions. And then the goal for me, because I went through boom and bust entrepreneurial cycles where we made all this money, we're great. Oh, we lost it all because of this investment or that or the market. Oh, make it all back. And it really just becomes a drain. What is the point in making this money if you're not regulated and you're going to be erratic with it? And then secondly, smart money is living life on your terms. So money is a vehicle that we need to get to where we want to go. That's all it is. And it provides comforts. Look, in order to live a healthy life, it costs money, right? When my wife decides to go to Whole Foods versus, the discount, that bill isn't cheap, right?
Right. You go to a functional medicine doctor versus a regular doctor,
Right.
right?
The functional medicine doctor's not taking insurance. He's like,
Right.
write the check, Chris. So these are the things that money can provide, and that's what we all should strive to have money for. Is not to have the flashy cars or the big house, which there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, get that too. But it doesn't have to be what money is. And for me, my goal right now at this stage is about freedom and helping people that want to build wealth do it in a way that allows them to be free and do the things that they love. And that's just coming from someone who was really trapped by money for 2 decades. And I wish I would have learned this stuff sooner. I wish I would have done things differently. But now at least I could share it with other people so that their journey can be different. And you can really make a difference if you put yourself first.
Right. And I think it was so clear in what you just said for me that when your nervous system is regulated, you're not operating out of fear when it comes to making a deal. You're sound in body and mind, and you're making those decisions not on faith, but you're willing to take a risk. You have a clear mind about it, and it's not coming from a place of fear.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
right? That's the way I heard it. And again, our energy levels are different. When we're in fear, we have this low energy state. When we're in this place of feeling really confident and joyful and we're comfortable in who we are every day, we operate at this higher energy level, and that follows through with the way that we show up for other people, for ourselves, for our families. So I love that it's so incredibly connected to the decision making and to living life on your terms, living that quality of life and having the opportunity when you do make these good moves in your financial portfolio, that you have that freedom. I really love that.
That's for me really what it's all about. It's about freedom. We only have a limited time here to enjoy our friends, family. So I really think so many people get caught up, especially if you're an entrepreneur, in the hustle and the day to day, and you just you lose track, and the days, weeks, months, years go by, and you can't get them back. And my goal is to help people maximize every day that they're here. And there's so many great ways to do that now. There's so many opportunities with AI and all of the technology that we can put in place to really help free ourselves from some of the menial tasks that we used to spend our time doing. It's like,
Share the like how you've used AI to help you regulate your nervous system, to give back something to you.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just taking things off of my plate, right? Decisions and coming up with a marketing plan or a social media strategy or evaluating a deal structure that could normally have taken hours. Right now we can run it through these systems and evaluate, what does this deal look like? I have a whole AI team. I have an AI marketing uh, person, AI editor, AI social media team, and they create all these little things, and they know how I want things, how I do things. So you don't need a lot of money, which is another thing. You can start a business and you can create things with very little upfront investment using AI. So for me, it's really about leveraging AI to create freedom in your life. And I mean, if you're struggling with anything, you can go into any of these models, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using, and problem solve. We map it out, we have a plan, and it's just such a time saver. And it gets back to that limited time that we have here. And if I can use AI and the tools to free up my time so that I can go and be out on my paddleboard in the bay in Cape May, I'm good.
Yeah, saved my life as a solopreneur. So I absolutely agree with you. And that time is absolutely critical because if I was investigating all of the things that I need to do to put program together, I wouldn't be out there planting my vegetable
Take
garden or going for a hike in the mountain that's up the block from my house. That is really self-nourishing time. I mean, you have a young family, right? You get to spend more time with your family. I'm sure they love that. So
It's questionable. They might
oh,
they
wait,
might
there
want
must be
me.
teenagers.
So yeah, girls, 21 and 16. So
Very
we're
cool.
approaching the end of the teenage years, and we have an entire company through Smart Money where we have actual people that we can add to your team that are in the Philippines that work to help you grow your business, and they can edit podcasts, they can create content, they can do all these things to give us freedom. So we leverage AI with our virtual assistant company, and now we're able to do the work that used to take months in a matter of a couple of days. And for the cost that is a fraction of what you would spend if you had a marketing team and a social media editor and all these people. So we're kind of using the best of both worlds where we're using the AI models. And then we have our company that basically we partner with that is staffing for all of the stuff that we need people to do.
And I love too that you just brought that out because I know a lot of people are under the assumption that AI is stealing jobs from people, but AI has replaced somebody in your office, but not in somebody else's office. So you're still contracting out at another office. Humans are still involved in the whole process. And I think that's also really important. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
So
they're just able to do more. They're able to get more output. And typically, if you're an entrepreneur and if you're creating, if you're able to generate more, you're going to reinvest. So you maybe you don't have the marketing team that you used to have, but you're going to go do something else. You may buy another property. You may invest in a business that is going to create. So it may be replacing certain things, but it's also just shifting things because I think as entrepreneurs create, they reinvest, and those reinvestments are going to create other opportunities for people.
right. So I guess for our audience, if there's somebody who's a high performer or is in the same kind of industry that you're in, what would be one first step that they could take if they're feeling they're getting to that point of overwhelm to take that pause and slow down? What would you say to them?
I would say take a step back and listen to your body. What are you feeling? Are you feeling tingling in your fingers? Are you feeling brain fog? Are you feeling sluggish? What is it that you're feeling in your body? Because your body will tell you what it needs. And you need to be able to listen to that. And I, for a long time, just put a lid on it and kept moving. When I saw those tests and I saw my cortisol levels and my adrenals and everything just kind of blown out of the water, I was like, oh, that's the result of just putting a lid on it. So simple advice I would say is just listen to your body and then see what it needs. Do you need to start exercising? Is that the first step? I have a colleague of mine. I know he just works and works. He's a little bit heavier. He's starting to feel different pains and things in his body. And I'm over here, doing all this stuff and just like, just go work out. And he's like, Chris, I can't just go work out. Like I walk up the stairs and I'm out of breath and I'm getting a pain in my back. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, so why don't you just take a walk around the neighborhood? If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, do some breath work, right? If you don't know what you're doing, reach out to Maria. If you can't get a hold of Maria, there's YouTube with all of the information that you
Exactly.
need, right? And you just try something would be my advice.
Try anything, try something.
Anything. It becomes addictive. It becomes try something, you feel it, and then you want more. It's like, oh, I didn't know that breath work could settle me down like that. Let me learn how to do it better. Let me learn another technique or exercise or cutting alcohol. Once you start to feel the difference and you're listening to your body, you're going to want more of that and less of whatever it was you were doing before, sitting on the couch and not doing anything or, drinking too much alcohol. I love a good drink, but I know how I feel. So it's like, I'm really going to think, is it worth it? Or would I rather feel and operate at optimal levels because I have a big meeting or a big deal to close tomorrow? You're going to be able to regulate yourself so much better, but just get started. Just do one thing and then step back and see, how did that feel? Did that make a difference? And once it does, the snowball starts down the hill.
Yeah. And I love that you even use the word addicted because you're actually
Yeah.
getting a dose, right? I call it a
Yeah,
daily dose. You're getting that
it
D,
is.
the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, and the endorphins.
And the
And
best thing
that's
about it is it's already here, right? It's free. You don't have to go buy a cup of coffee or a Red Bull or any of these things. Take pharmaceuticals to regulate.
oh, you're activating the pharmacy within, right?
So that's
Yeah,
the other day.
activating the pharmacy within. So
Yep.
is there anything else that you would like to, that we didn't cover that you'd like to share with the audience?
No, this has been great. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity and hope that anyone listening to this that's operating at a high level that might be experiencing some burnout will just get a little takeaway and step back. And if you'd like to connect, if you have questions about any of the things that we've talked about, feel free to reach out. I'd love to go deeper. I'd love to connect with people. And that's what the Smart Money brand is all about. It's about connecting with people and helping them get where they want to be. And that's the best way that I can give back at this stage is by connecting with others and sharing. So if anything on here resonated with you and you'd like to go deeper, just reach out.
Yeah, and there will be a slide right at the end of this show, so stick around and take Chris's contact information. And if this podcast resonated with you, share it with people who could really benefit from it. Subscribe and like. And thank you so much, Chris. It has
Oh,
been
you're welcome.
amazing having you here as a guest. I'm so thrilled. I haven't had anybody in the financial world, so this was such a good piece to be able to share with the audience. So thank you so much for coming today. It's been wonderful having you here. Check to see what is coming up on Regulate Your Nervous System. I am Maria Brown, and I am so grateful that you joined us today. Have an amazing day.
Hey, it's Maria Brown. Turn the volume up now. We're dialing in your day from the inside out. Regulate your nervous system. Let's go. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the rhythm. Oh, from stress to steady, watch you listen and grow with Maria Brown on the Mind Body Flow. Regulate your nervous system.